Hello everyone, my name is Mason and welcome back to my home cooking show. Now I know I actually took a one-term long break just because I was so busy and I got so many things going on, I literally couldn't make another episode. I actually got sick and then I had issues with my recording equipment and my car also had some issues which ended up leading me to literally got another cheap car and actually fully build it all into my next project car. So that's actually kind of interesting in terms of how that turned out. But hey, I'm back and I brought you guys a brand new recipe. This one is actually from my grandmother and it's my grandma's green onion pancake. It's a super simple recipe that's very easy to make. You can literally make it in your dorm or make it in your apartment's kitchen. And it's absolutely delicious and also lasts really long. You can make it really fast. So let's get started.
Alright, so here are all the ingredients you will need to make this pancake. You will obviously need some fresh green onions, you will need fresh eggs, you will need some vegetable oil, some salt, some sugar, and most importantly, you want to get some bread flour for this recipe, just because it's actually a lot starchier and also works out a lot better than the regular general purpose flour. So from now on, this is gonna be my to-go flour to use, just because it makes everything so much easier and gives a way better result. So I would recommend just get a couple bags. They are totally worth it, and we will be mainly using these flours from now on. Now let's dice some green onions. We want to cut off both the very top end and also the very bottom end of the green onion because they are bad. And let's dice them into about like 3 to 5 millimeter wide little pieces, or about like 1/8 of an inch. It can be a little liberal, but it really shouldn't be, like a little too long. So just dice all the green onions and you're ready for the next step. Alright, after finishing dicing your green onions, let's prepare a big bowl, and this bowl will be used for making the batter for the pancake. So we want to start with about 6 spoons of the bread flour in order to make the batter. And oops, I accidentally dropped a little bit to the outside, but it's alright. Just like be very generous, like do 6 really big spoons of flour and it should be ready to go. Now after that, let's add the diced green onion we just made into the flour, as well as let's also crack an egg into the mixture. Now comes the actual important part of mixing up the batter. So the first thing we want to do is we want to add about maybe half teaspoons of salt. This is totally depending on your personal preference. I think about half spoon is pretty much perfect. Then let's add about 2 teaspoons of cooking oil. You can add a little more depending on your preference. I think 2 to 3 is perfect. I added a little more here, so it's totally alright. It really doesn't matter if you actually add too much. Now comes the important part of pouring in some warm water. I did it with my coffee maker just because it's a lot easier this way. You get way better control with the warm water. You can also do it with like a measuring cup or like a glass cup, and just do it nicely and carefully. Make sure that you don't pour in too much at a time, or else you may have to mix more flour into it. So just take your time and be gentle with the amount of water you pour in. If it's too much and you feel that way, just like stop and start mixing the water with the flour and see how the consistency looks like. You want it to look like a very like a runny like a sauce, cooking sauce, barbecue sauce. And if it's kind of to that like the like a clam chowder consistency, that's pretty much about perfect. Alright, as you can see, this is the finished mixed up batter, and to just make it easier to see, this is about the right consistency you are looking at. It's like somewhere in between, like a thick clam chowder to like, maybe like glue-ish consistency that's a little starchy, and would be, something that we are aiming for, and it will be ready to go. For cooking the pancake, let's prepare a rather large frying pan, and I personally love to use the cooking spray to just spray the bottom of the pan for like an even coating. It just makes my life a lot easier. Obviously, you can also use cooking oil, but this is my personal preferred way. And you want to turn up the heat to medium, depending on which kind of stove you're using, but usually about medium is perfect. So just spray in the cooking oil and let the pan heat up a little bit. When the pan turns hot, you can see the oil either gets runny, or in this case, the cooking spray will turn transparent. Now would be a good time to pour in some of the batter. Now this recipe is good enough to make 2 medium-sized pancakes. So just pour about half of the batter from the bowl into the hot pan, and move the pan a little bit. Make the batter kind of coat the bottom of the pan evenly to form like as perfect of a round shape as it can be. But just take it slowly. It doesn't have to be rushed, and when it looks perfectly round or about there, that's good enough, and we can just put it back on the stove and let it cook until it solidifies. And the key of the pancake is you want it to slowly cook until it's solid. You don't want to use high heat to cook it immediately and to start get charred. The whole point of this pancake is to make sure that you don't have any chars on it, and everything kind of solidifies nicely. It's nice and chewy instead of crunchy. Alright, so as you can see, the pancake is no longer stuck to the bottom, and this will be a good time for us to carefully flip it over. And look at that, that's a perfect pancake. Now, one of the things I would like to do is I would crack open one whole egg onto this pancake while the other side is still cooking. This helps to add another layer of flavor to the pancake, and also adds more nutrition, as well as giving it that nice looking like the egg color on top. You want to spread the egg as even as possible on the top of the pancake, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You can just make it as kind of liberally as you can, and the heat will slowly cook the egg and solidifies it on the surface of the pancake, through the pancake. Now, as you can see, the eggs have solidified, so now we can flip the pancake again and let the side cook. It's fairly easy, when the eggs is entirely solidified, and you want to make sure that's the case. Otherwise, you're gonna have a little runny egg here and there. But as you can see here, it worked out pretty perfect. So again, just be a little patient. The other side won't actually burn. So again, take your time and make sure that the egg isn't runny when you flip it. Now let this egg side cook for about 5 minutes and the pancake should be done. And as you can see here, I already have a dish prepared for it, and I would just pour half of the pancake out of the pan and fold it in the middle. This helps to keep the heat in the pancake so that it won't get cold too fast. Alright, this is basically how to make my grandma's green onion pancake, and if you followed it through and you've successfully made some pancakes that looks like these, then congratulations, you now have some delicious pancakes to enjoy. Now, this recipe is pretty simple, but I do have to say it can be a little challenging in terms of controlling the heat of the pan and make sure that the pancake actually gets cooked without getting charred, but still, it's fairly straight and simple. Thank you for your view, and I wish you all the best in your culinary journey.